Describe the factors affecting pharma industry growth. Some of the important factors that lead to growth of pharma industry are resources, deregulation, technology, labor, infrastructure. Let's look at each one of them in detail. Resources are the number one factor that spurs growth of pharmaceutical industry in a country. It makes economic growth of pharma sector considerably easier. There are other countries like Singapore which have a good natural harbor and therefore have become a major transit point. Other countries also have resources like coal deposits, iron ore deposits, or even water and available land. Electricity should be provided to the pharma sector at a cheaper rate. Also, pharma companies should be able to transport goods across continents cheaply. Deregulation. Pharma companies should be allowed to trade with other countries. However, some governments try to take this freedom away. Rules and limitations are imposed and trading becomes limited. This could benefit a small group of people at the expense of others. However, it could almost never benefit the entire pharmaceutical sector. Technology has always played a pivotal role in the growth of any industry, including the pharma sector. The Industrial Revolution was started because of technological advances. Only the applications of technology changed over the years. From manufacturing to services and then to social media, technology still drives business growth. It is for this reason that countries that build technological prowess develop their pharma sector much faster than others. Labor. Human resources of a nation can be a boon depending on how they are utilized for the pharma sector as skilled as well as unskilled labor. It's important that for the pharma sector to grow in a country, there should be human resource power available with the necessary skills and qualification. Availability of labor helps to keep the drug production costs and hence offer drugs at affordable prices. Infrastructure. Pharma companies should be available to avail land, equipment, and machinery, and be able to build huge pharmaceutical manufacturing plants and infrastructures. These plants not only create employment and spur the economy of the country, but also help to develop the pharma sector in a country. A pharma sector will be able to benefit from low manufacturing costs. This is enabled by the large-scale infrastructure. Let's now look at a real-life example to understand legal issues in the pharmaceutical market. Ranbaxy started as a small firm which used to manufacture generic medicines. Malvinder Sin and Shavender Sin, the Sin brothers, were in control of Ranbaxy. Over a period of time, the firm became an industry giant. This was because of the opening up of export markets. Ranbaxy was an expert in supplying low-cost generic drugs to patients in different parts of the world. Analysts were confident that Ranbaxy was a profitable bet in the future. However, the Sin brothers thought otherwise. They decided to sell their stake for close to $2.5 billion. Ranbaxy was valued at $4 billion. Firm was bought by a Japanese pharma company, Daiichi Sankyo. Daiichi wanted to expand its capabilities to manufacture generic drugs at low cost and were desperate for acquisition in the Indian pharma market. Although the deal seemed like a bargain at that point in time, it turned out to be horribly overpriced. This was because Ranbaxy used to earn a lot of its revenues from the United States. However, several Ranbaxy drugs were banned by the United States regulator, the FDA. The drugs were mainly banned because of their poor quality. Daiichi therefore suffered serious setbacks. For some time, Daiichi tried to make the deal work. However, since it could not manage the operations profitably, Daiichi chose to sell the company to Sun Pharma. Since this was a distressed sale, Sun Pharma was able to get the assets at an attractive valuation. Daiichi therefore lost money on both sides. That is, it made an expensive purchase and was forced to sell off at a lower valuation. However, Daiichi found out that the Sin brothers were aware of the problems that Ranbaxy was facing with the American regulators. Hence, they filed a case against the Sin brothers. At first, they were awarded $550 million by an arbitrator in Singapore. Later, the same case was filed in Indian courts, wherein the Sin brothers had been ordered to pay $550 million in damages to Dachi. This news had come at a bad time for the Sin brothers, whose personal net worth had seen a drastic drop because of the drop in the value of the real estate ventures that they had invested their money in. Some of the important lessons that can be learned from this deal are: super fast growth may be harmful. Ranbaxy's rise to the top was meteoric. It started manufacturing many drugs and tried to serve many markets. Reckless expansion caused a drop in quality. Ranbaxy started manufacturing drugs with poor quality. This was the reason why they ran into trouble with the American regulator. Had the company been a little bit more patient, it could have opted for a slower expansion model. Obsession with acquisitions. Dachi was obsessed with the growth story of Indian pharma companies. However, they didn't want to set up a business, so they wanted to make an acquisition. The problem was that they were in a hurry to make this acquisition. This is why they didn't conduct their due diligence properly. Hundreds of Ranbaxy's drugs were being investigated by the FDA. A more thorough due diligence would have revealed the facts a little earlier. Concealment of facts. Lastly, concealment of facts is not a very good strategy when it comes to acquisitions. In Dachi's case, they were able to find a whistleblower that provided a document confirming that the Sin brothers were indeed fully aware of the extent of Ranbaxy's troubles and were withholding this information from Dachi. Concealment of facts is a dangerous strategy when it comes to M&A, and the Sin brothers ended up paying the price. Impact of government shutdown on the pharma industry. Government shutdowns have happened on several occasions in the past. However, smaller government shutdowns are insignificant from an economic point of view, but longer ones definitely have a significant impact on the economy, including that of the pharmaceutical industry. There are a lot of government agencies which interact with other industries. Consider the case of the Food and Drug Administration, or FDA. This government body regulates the behavior of many pharmaceutical companies and food companies. Since the FDA is not operational, the launch of many pharmaceutical and food products gets delayed. This will reflect in the form of poor earnings for the pharma companies, since they will not be able to launch new products and increase their sales during the shutdown period.
Did you know? Pharmacy is the art and science of preparing and dispensing drugs for preventing, diagnosing, or treating diseases in humans and animals.